so here we go, with this hire of John Butler. And, my mind has kind of gone back and forth on this the last couple of days. When I first saw it's John Butler, I'm like, okay, they're just kind of hiring from, within. And there are some worries with the hire. But in a way, like Matt Rhule, the one thing about Rhule that he's been very good at is defense. And even with the Carolina Panthers, they had tremendous defense. And the Tony White hire, the 3-3-5, I also, had reservations about at the time. And it turned out to be a grand slam, like really, really great hire. So the thing that I like about Butler is, I really love the experience that he possesses. And he coached great players like Tre'Davious White was in that secondary. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are absolute veteran, great, smart, instinctual players, So he was with Sean McDermott a really long time in Buffalo. He was there for about 5 years, and he elevated the play of, again, Tre'Davious White and, again, Poyer and Hyde, and I bet DeMar Hamlin was there, and like they've had they had good defense, and they played alongside Josh Allen, and he's been in big time playoff games and big time moments, and the team has it's done okay. He's had to go up against Mahomes, he's had to go against Lamar Jackson. He was with the Houston Texans, it looks like, from 2014 to 2017. I think that's probably Bill O'Brien. So he's worked under some really intense coaches, guys. And I think that there in Houston, I'm trying to think of the coaches that were there on the defensive side of the football during that time. I think that we had... Who's the older coach that is helping out Seattle right now? Leslie Frazier, I believe, is also somebody who's probably close to John Butler, one of the good guys in the business. Great defensive coordinator is Leslie Frazier. That's exciting. That's exciting. Great defensive coordinator, Coach Butler. He's put in work with these defensive guys. So his resume is awesome. This year, Tommy Hill, I'm not sure that it went all that well. I know that I've heard that he's a very intense football coach, so I wonder how he's going to be with recruiting. He spent a ton of time in the NFL, and from a play caller's perspective, he's only called plays at Penn State. So is he going to be a really good position coach, or is he going to really go and make this defense rock? So I think that Matt Rhule's going to have a ton of input here with this defense. They're going to have to recruit well. I think Matt Rhule's going to have to take a real hands-on approach to getting Butler up to speed with defensively with again the recruiting angle of it. I worry about that recruiting part of it. I also think for Matt Rhule, though, this is Matt saying, look, John Butler's my guy. Phil Snow is my guy, and we're going to kind of run what I want to do right now. And after the UCLA debacle in Indiana, where it got really ugly, I think that he looked at Tony White and said, this is probably the end of the road after this year. That's kind of what I've heard from reports, is that Phil Snow kind of came in there after UCLA. So now with Matt Rhule, I think he's going to be spending a lot more time defensively with John Butler. And Matt Rhule's bread and butter, I think, is defense. And he's going to let Dana Holgorsen try to rock on offense. Okay. And as long as they can keep some of these players, on their football team, like a lot of these good receivers, losing Emmett Johnson hurts, I could see Butler having success under Matt Rhule. And then he did a decent job with Bill O'Brien and Penn State. He just doesn't have a lot of coordinator experience. That's the thing. And it's not a flashy name whatsoever. It's not even a young riser, like a young FCS coach that's great, or a sitting defensive coordinator of a program, that can come in and just start dealing immediately. So there's so many defensive coordinators, though, that are out there, smart defensive players that are out there. Like, even you could have went up to North Dakota State, or like Montana, got somebody from the FCS. You know what I mean? So But I think Matt Rhule at this point is like, look, defense is kind of my forte, and I got Phil Snow, and I got these different influences that I'm really going to lean on, okay? So Phil Snow has been Matt Rhule's kind of right-hand man, and I think that it's kind of exciting that he's, coming back out to help Matt Rhule. So Phil Snow is a coach that was with the Carolina Panthers, was with Baylor and Temple. Okay, Phil Snow is from where? Woodland, California. He somehow was able to meet Matt Rhule. When did he meet Matt Rhule? Maybe through Eastern Michigan. So Matt Rhule has an interesting way of kind of finding these coaches. And then Phil Snow's been with him ever since. So run defense for a while. So combined, this is looking like a dang good defensive staff now. It's just entrusting in Matt Rhule. I think it's going to come down to the head coach, and I really trust the head coach here with defense. Let's look at the new hire from the Kansas City Chiefs, Terry Bradden. What a journey for Terry Bradden. Terry Bradden was at an HBCU, and he got hired as a defensive line coach at Howard University. He played quarterback at Howard. He was at Bethune-Cookman as well as a quarterback graduate assistant. Then, what's crazy is that he met the Chiefs D-line coach at a coaching clinic, and they were so impressed by him that they said, I know that you coach defensive line, but you're just so impressive. Like, you're going to come work with me, and you're going to interview with Coach Reed in 4 days, and you're just special as special can be. And this guy's a quarterback, and he's a quarterback who trained at quarterback at Bethune-Cookman, and now he is helped on the defensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs, which, of course, you have Carl Loftus, who's on that defense. You have Hall of Famer Chris Jones that is on that defense. I think Frank Clark might have been on that defense. We know that the guy's named D Ford, who went to the 49ers. So, but really, Chris Jones in that front is just so nasty, and those linebackers are great, and they've had so much success, with Kansas City with that defensive line. And then he's been around Mahomes, so he knows about quarterback play. He knows what quarterbacks want to do. He knows about offense, and he knows about winning. I mean, being with Steve Spagnuolo. So now you're getting into a lot of 4-3 flavor, which is right what Matt Rhule wants to do. So Terry Bradden, I think, has the most upside. I think that's a really fun hire of this cycle for Nebraska football. Snow and Butler were kind of expected, but now you get a guy like Terry Bradden who's a real outside-the-box hire, and I think that it's a brilliant job. You're going to pay him more money, and he's going to leave the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that there's obviously connection with Nebraska and the Kansas City Chiefs. I think one of the Nebraska football players has family that is involved with the Kansas City Chiefs, like Dawson Merritt or something, I want to say. It's something that I've heard about. So overall, I think that the defense will still be very good. If John Butler was randomly going to go out there and be like an Oregon State defensive coordinator or a Michigan State, or let's just say that he was at Arizona or Tulsa or somewhere, I would have more reservations, but I think he's in a position to succeed with Matt Rhule. I think that Matt Rhule can get his experiences better, and I think that this defensive staff can actually start to hum and look like a Matt Rhule football team. So overall, with Dylan Raiola's second year, this should be a jump now with the DC coming back. And the more I think about it, the more I think that it's actually going to work favorably. Because if you look back at Matt Rhule and just what he's done defensively, he's always kind of been able to do a great job. All righty. So John Butler is in a position to succeed. If he was at another program, his inexperience calling plays, his intense personality, and not really being in college football that long would be a major concern. But with Matt Rhule guiding him and spending this last season here, the chances of success greatly improve. That's how I would classify all of this.